these trips. Me and my friends would do these pilgrimages out to Palm Springs, and we'd all go to the JW Marriott. And for me, going out to JW Marriott meant we were on our way through the desert, and I have all my guns. So I would always load up a shitload of guns to shoot out in the desert that I didn't get the opportunity to shoot out here. And so we were going out there, and my buddy Tim said, we're going in this chick's car, this crazy chick. She's got a convertible Beamer, and I said, fine. And she was so fucking drunk half the time, she didn't notice that I was loading up rifle after rifle and bags of pistols into the trunk of her car. So we head out to Palm Springs, and normally on the way out there, there's a little spot right before you get to Palm Springs where there's desert and train tracks, and the wind and everything will take the sound away, and I can sit out there and shoot full auto, no problem. But me and Tim were coming back from Palm Springs, and we missed that exit. So I was like, no big deal. I'm sure there's some place we can find where we can just shoot. I mean, it's kind of like the desert, so we take the next exit, which was Beaumont, the town of Beaumont, and we're just driving around, and we're still kind of fucked up from being the drinking of the day. And I'm like, let's just go here. And so we pull down this road, and it looks kind of vacant, and there's nothing around, and there's a big hill that you can drive up into off-road. So we drive up off-road, and we're stopped parking there, and we just start pow, 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 blasting caps. We're just shooting tin cans and anything else that was floating around, signs, power lines, and we're sitting there shooting, and I remember Tim going, all right, that's enough shooting, man. And I was like, just one more magazine, okay, and then we'll get out of here. So we're pow, 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 we're shooting away, and then he's like, man, I hear sirens. And I was like they're coming here. And you could hear him. It was like, getting closer and closer. And eventually they stopped. So I was like, they're not coming here. And Tim's like, cut it out, let's get the fuck out of here. And he's like, oh shit. And I'm like, what? And he's like, somebody's coming up the hill. And we look down, and they've got like a tactical unit of guys like with helmets and shit slowly walking up on us. Like, it was like 4 guys creeping up the side of this hillside. And I just looked over at Tim, and I was like, just slowly put the rifles up against the car and put your hands in the air and don't do anything stupid. And so we're just like waiting for them to get up there, and they come walking up, and I was like, let me do all the talking. So as soon as the cops start walking up, I just throw on my redneck accent, and the guy's like, okay, what do you fellas think you're doing up here? And I was like, see, officer, the problem is this. I'm from South Carolina. I grew up in Greenville, South Carolina. I just moved out here to damn Hollywood, and you ain't allowed to shoot a gun nowhere near around here. So I was coming out here to the desert to go to my buddy's bachelor party. So I thought it'd be all right to bring a couple guns, and once we got halfway out here, pop off a few rounds. And I kind of got lucky because most cops are rednecks, and this guy was like, but don't you know you can't just shoot anywhere? And I was like, I think I might be getting out of this. And he's like, well, do you know what you're shooting at over there on the other side of that hill? And I was like, nah, what's over there? And he was like, an orphanage. I was like, holy shit. Could it get any worse? I was like, couldn't I just be like shooting at like, I don't know, a hospital or something? He's like, you're shooting at orphans. And I'm like, which would, in my opinion, would be like, who's going to miss them if I popped a few? You know, it's more food for the rest. But and then they asked Tim, they were like, you guys have any warrants or anything? And I just remember Tim going like, might have one. And I was like, dude, the next time a police officer is around me and you start talking about warrants, you better be talking about an 80s rock band. I was like, you almost got us. Well, actually, I kind of did. And then it went into this whole episode where all the cops were just going through the trunk of the car and pulling out gun after like the cop that was on my side was like, I want y'all to get these guns cleaned up, make them safe, and get the hell out of here. Meanwhile, his like partner, like his little Barney Fife, was like going, but they've got 10 guns in here, Sam. And I was like, he's like, are all these yours? And I was like, check the serial numbers on them, and they did, and we got the fuck out of there as fast as we stopped to get a 6-pack of beer because I was a little nervy. But yeah, that was a little shooting episode. Not the first or the last.